The moment you capture this within the framework of your experience, it is the past already there.
Already exists.
So there is no present at all.
The concept of present is not.
It's just a concept, and you can indulge in that fantasy and tell yourself that you are living from moment to moment. But the physical body is functioning from moment to moment.
Concept of moment applies to
Exactly.
physical body,
Only with the physical body. You cannot create a state of mind and imagine and tell yourself and tell others that you are living from moment to moment. It's just
For
not possible.
example, I would like to infer from the objective research. I mean, this is not an assertion.
So you see what happens here, you are sitting here, this you may not agree. All these senses we have, 5 senses or maybe more, I don't know, they function independently.
Yeah.
There is no coordinator coordinating these 5 senses.
One of the scientific research, like EEG example, emergency public individual, they have been, it has been generalized that there is no constancy in EEG
Yes.
pattern getting in the same individual at any time, at any moment.
But the trouble with that EG is that you are watching that, you are projecting on what you are looking at, your ideations and meditations. For example, you give a drug to LSD to somebody, and you invite some yogi who lives at peace with himself. What makes you think that this fellow's vibrations are more acceptable? Culturally, it's acceptable, but that's the real thing, because the whole chemistry of the body goes haywire, and that is the way you see this body is functioning. I am telling people, if you find yourself in a soundproof room, you will go crazy, because you cannot stand your own heartbeat, and you cannot stand the flow of blood in your veins. That is the peace, that is the silence. Not these people who sit and meditate for hours and hours and torture themselves and create a thought-induced state of mind and call it silence. But that silence, the roar of an ocean, is the silence. The heartbeat you listen to, you will run away from, you will go. That's why many people who are working on many projects in soundproof rooms are going crazy. I met a psychologist there. He wanted to test this for himself. He immediately said, what you are saying is correct, because he wanted to test that for himself. And he went crazy. You listen to it. Thank God you are preoccupied with some totally unrelated things. You are saved from this problem of listening to your own heartbeat.
Any parameter measure.
Any parameter.
Whether it's intra-individual variation or inter-individual variation, like within the individual, outside the individual. We cannot have a reference point within the physiological or physical picture.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
It refers to back to the PC, pure consciousness or whatever.
That pure consciousness
as a part of
is a thing invented by these
of course,
the metaphysicians. That is
I'm learning from this point.
I know that. Why I question that is, you are sitting here, and what is happening is only the sensory activity. So to differentiate the response, the naming and what is the word, and recognition and naming is one. We try to separate the two and feel good that you recognize without naming. The word is not the thing. Every time if somebody throws that word is not the thing, what the hell it is. We discuss this in the classrooms with the philosophy professor. If you say that's an object or a thing, it is still there, the word is still there. Whether you experience the word, the thing is there. You have what separates you from what you are looking at is the knowledge you have of that. Otherwise, it's not that you tell yourself that you are the tree, that you are the television. That's another joke.
One more thing. If a person is taking including a scientist himself, subject to an experiment like EEG and other things, the very moment he takes the parameter to study, it becomes a past moment for him to study.
Exactly, that's what I'm
That's a
saying.
becoming problem.
That is what you are reading something there to fit into your ideations and meditations. That's the most
These
objective
conceptions
thing.
you are fitting.
Yes, but he is antisocial. He is taking drugs.
Because this question of why there
It
is
has to be challenged.
intra-individual variation in each
You
individual.
cannot go by that
genomic
at all.
concept. That's what the question is.
So why a peaceful man is considered to be a very healthy man? He may be a useful citizen created by your society. It's a different matter. So actually that may be the thing. You see, disturbing the whole thing. You don't for a moment consider that meditation is not only evil but also it disturbs the chemistry of this body.
Yes, yes.
Huh?
It's an addiction, right?
It's an addiction.
Addiction.
So what I say is
Without meditation, you won't
alcohol, say, nicotine, and all the other things can be managed. But this damage, irreparable damage caused by meditation, is something which the body
There is
Will
a,
never be recovered.
no.
they have recently made a quote. They have classified the two experiences into two divisions. One is automatic experiences, and one is controlled experiences. Controlled experience is all like meditation or any type of addictions like
Yes,
that.
yes, yes.
Automatic is what comes spontaneous, effortless, without resource free.
Even
Without central control.
even the reflex actions I consider.
That's nothing to do with
No, not at all.
not at all.
The whole.
It's any mechanics of physiology.
Yeah, that's
not
all.
nothing to do with the subjective function.
Not at
That's
all.
clearly
Not at
seen.
all. There's no such thing as
It's a
reflex
mechanism.
action at all.
And even in the controlled activities also, I think it's only mechanics of the physiology that we are expressing, not the real subjective
You are
experience.
interested in the controlled activity because you want to learn something about this.
That's what.
I maintain that the body does not want to know anything and learn anything.
Because it is just an action. Action has nothing to do with
That's why
knowledge.
it has nothing. It doesn't need all this knowledge that we have.
It's an action.
So now going back to the question of consciousness.
Pure consciousness.
No. Yeah, that pure consciousness is invented by the Vedantis.
You are naming it.
No, you are sitting here, but anyway, the knowledge is all the time operating in you. There is no way you can look at anything without projecting the knowledge you have of that.
Yes.
It's a very dangerous. They don't even try that.
No.
It's dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
Yes.
So you are not only you are the one that is creating this object here, not you in the sense
Yes, sir.
that the knowledge you have of this is the one that is creating this. There is no such thing as hardness at all. But the sense of touch does not tell you that this is hard.
It's only with our reference we can't.
So you see, the moment you say this is hard, you have created a space there, and that space is created by the knowledge you have. Who told you? My grandmother told me, or first time when a baby sits on this, gets up, not telling to itself or herself, himself, as the case may be, that this is hard. So we supply, you see, the information to the child. Everything. I was telling the other day that one scientist has done a lot of research, visited me, and during the course of the conversation, he said, we now know why the sky is blue. I'm delighted. And how do I know that the sky is first of all blue, and now you know why the sky is blue? I'm not interested in this additional information, but I will from now on continue to repeat that we also know that the sky is blue, and it is why it is blue also. We have added one more piece of information. So how do I know that the sky is blue? My grandmother told me. Ever since then, every time I look at it, I call it blue. So is it possible for you to look at the sky without the knowledge that it is blue? If I say yes, it is possible, that has no value to you, that has no meaning to you. There is no way you can look at anything without using the knowledge. And also yourself, which is created by the knowledge. So going back to this, you are sitting here, and there is a reflection of that object on the retina. You may trick yourself to say that you are looking at that without calling it a television. It is not, you are kidding yourself. There is no way you can look at it without telling yourself that it is a television. You can, through some gimmicks, learn how to look at it without giving the name. Those jokers are the ones who say that the word is not the thing. But still, there must be a separation between the one who is sitting here
very knowledge of
The very knowledge of that.
itself is a separation.
So what actually is where these people went wrong, who talked of choiceless awareness and consciousness, pure consciousness, is they were not familiar with the physical functioning of this body. That is, the light is not there, you see nothing. You see probably darkness. Even then you call it is dark. That stimulates the optic nerves and throws an image. All this I have learned from the physiologists. I would rather go by their explanation than this Vedantins sitting and talking of consciousness, pure consciousness, awareness, and all such kind of a thing. So when that image is passed on the retina, in this process, when the optic nerves are activated automatically, the neurons are also activated. People think that the thought is very fast. It is not. It is very slow. The physical sensory activity is tremendously fast. By the time the neurons capture this and say that that is a television, this has moved away from that because that something is happening here, so it is no longer interested in that. That is why I say the whole concept of beauty collapses. You can sit here and say, beauty, is it in the beholder's eye or in the object or in the total absence of the self, all that is in the Upanishads. Somebody, some disciple asked the teacher, what is beauty?
So there is no movement in any way.
There is no movement anywhere. So that is all. So here you have translated this as pure consciousness. A corpse sitting here, we are not concerned about corpse at all. What do we care whether there is no death in that sense to this body? That is why when I say that people object to that, the reshuffling of the atoms, that is death. Clinical death there is. And you give a name to the condition of that physical body and call it a corpse. But there is life there, not only life, the body is going through this process and it is creating life and it is the source of the continuity of life. Consciousness, no manifestation.
I mean, in the means,
You were
practice as an action.
You were describing the condition of the body as a corpse is the knowledge that you have.
Of course, that's, but
Now going back to the consciousness, why do you talk of where is consciousness? Consciousness is another word for knowledge. You become conscious of a thing through the help of the knowledge. No? You become conscious. You don't even know that there is something there. I'm sticking to this because that is sitting in front of us. So you have no way of separating yourself from that and naming that as a television, except through the very separation can occur through the help of knowledge. Otherwise, there is no separation.
knowledge is a movement again. So that's a separation of us.
Then only you can say. So, but why do you have to use that word consciousness? Pure consciousness, let alone pure consciousness.
No, it's labeled actually as a part of.
No, that's a very danger there. We get into a lot of trouble there if you use that word consciousness.
Of course, that's the point.
So it has certain connotations. It's a very rubbed coin. It's a rubbed coin.
But we have to depend upon functional status to explain that reference point always.
No, but to give importance to the consciousness, the whole Vedantic structure collapses. If you accept what I am saying, there is no existence, no bliss, no absolute. The absolutes are created by us. Morality, absolute morality. So the beyond, the immensity, the thoughtless state, the timeless state, the moment the thought is bound, the time is there, the space is there.
Beyond creativity.
Yes, beyond is has no meaning.
Beyond
Has no meaning.
appearance of.
No, there's no. Even this horizon that we are so sure of is created by the limitation of the physical eye. So if you move in that direction, that is moving you farther and farther away from you. So there is no such thing as a horizon at all.
Really?
That's the. It's because of our limitations.
The limitation of the physical eye creates that illusion that there is such a thing as horizon.
Like that, even visual subjective experiences are because of the limitations of these urgent as such brain or whatever.
Exactly, exactly.
Which appears as if it is limited to that extent and it's a new one.
You know, it's very strange. This part of the body can never be experienced by you. Impossible. Other things you can experience, but the sensory activity cannot help you to separate yourself from your brain and look at it.
And
All the brains are the same, sir. There is no genius. The idea that we use only, if we use 10%, we are a genius. Oh, no, come on, you just forget it. Your brain and my brain and the brain of a genius, they all look alike. And once they are taken, like the walnut. You will be surprised that the brain of a genius will be no different from the brain of a low-grade moron. But what is this? One of these days we have to get more, we have to know more about these neurons. What is memory? It's not my question because it's a ridiculous question to ask. It is operating here. It is functional. And but why bother about asking the question, what is memory? You are memory. You are nothing but that is the identity. The identity, that is what I am saying. To maintain your identity, what you call identity, constantly, whether you are awake, asleep, or dreaming, is using tremendous amount of energy. Tremendous amount of energy. The spiritual pursuits are the worst. Huh? And this you want to change into something else. And the culture insists that you should maintain all these psychologists. If there is something wrong, it is falling apart, and he takes you, puts you on the couch and charges you $100 an hour and tries to put back your identity. That is why I am telling my friends, there is one person suffering from Alzheimer's disease, that lady. Her mind is destroyed, her identity is destroyed, but that is a tremendously living person there in every other respect. You know? So, this neurosis is absolutely essential to survive in this culture. There is no other way. I'm sorry. Absolutely essential. If it goes far, and you become a manic depressive individual, and there is trouble. All creativity is manic depressive state. All spiritual teachers were manic. They were not probably clinical cases. Probably they were. I don't know. This drive. There is no such thing as creativity at all. Nothing like that. Life is the only thing that is creative because it does not use any model. It doesn't use any model. What is the purpose? Is there any purpose? Why should you bother about it? Maybe the whole thing is an accident. Why are you concerned about what happened? 5 billion, now no more 5. The age of the universe, they have placed at 20 billion years because they have found some quasar somewhere at the edge of the universe. So you can give another Nobel Prize to that fellow and some prestigious Indira Gandhi. Good. That's all it is useful. How does it help us?
Scientific scientists look on the one angle.
No, that my objection to all that is that it is whatever they are discovering is not percolating to the common man's demands. Well, what good is that? Huh? It's of no use to us. Yes, we are comfortable here. We have a television, VCR, and it's all right. The high tech, the technology that has resulted through these scientific discoveries is the one that makes us feel that there is something extraordinary about it. They are a bunch of jokes. They are the most superstitious people that you have in this world, the scientists. I have met lots of the most mental cases come from psychologists. I tell you, one fellow who came to see me in Mid Valley, he has treated 50,000 people, he said. And he is himself a mental case. He putting fingers. Ipswich or something, John Ipswich. You were not there that day. Oh boy, that was really something. He's a goner. best answer, sir. I asked him a question. Who is saying you are your patient? The one honest answer he gave was very honest. He said, statistically speaking, we are sick. Nobody had the guts to put it that way. Statistically speaking, we are sick.
And these type of research linked with quantitative type of approach, linked with only they take some statistics and take some significance and very statistics.
Read something.
Absolutely, it has nothing to
It's
do.
a waste of money as well.
Waste of time and everything.
The government is wasting money. on
Moreover,
that project.
going on for the past 10 years, it's going on fast.
They will produce some books.
It's only they are looking for just like findings of altered states or all those things like due to these techniques.
All these are
I don't think
states.
no, because difference in looking the angle which is it appears like that. There is no the second thing, causation is not an acceptable.
Not at all. There is no. Why should there be a cause for everything?
Particular to make this type of research.
The thought is the one that is interested in cause and effect relationship.
And in fact, cause is an object of thought again.
Yes, it is.
So cause cannot bring back thought to
No,
something new. That is
not at all.
there.
Not at all. Thought is not the instrument to understand anything.
That's
At all. Not the, there is no other. You are talking of intuition is nothing but sensitized thought to use your homeopathic language. Sensitized. But intuition and all that women are more intuitive than men. That's all right. I don't know.
whole psychosomatic.
You think there is
itself is-
psychosomatic illness? Or it was once a passion or it's out of passion?
No, it may be either way. Somatocytic or psychosomatic. Either way, it's physiological or psychological.
Is there any such thing as health? Even that is a definition for the body. Let alone
Reference to find the left and right.
I don't know whether the body feels anything about this small functioning of the body. Does it feel separate from the
Psycho.
Huh? I don't know. I really don't know.
Actually, they think it's effect of psychological or the physical.
Yes.
That this thing is effect is expressed as illness or other types of
There is no such thing.
like hypertension and other things which are more related to this type of
I'm one of those who maintain that the whole thing has to be treated as a chemistry, and any treatment that you want to give is a drug-oriented treatment and not going to
it's only normalizing the system.
system back. That is our idea of a normal function.
That's a scientific idea.
Scientific idea. We are misled by all these.
But it has nothing to do with explaining about this type of things.
No,
Right?
not at all. It's a definition. It's a definition.
Well, there are
I tell my people to open this kindness and love. The heart is there just to pump blood. If you do any kindly deeds, it's an unnecessary strain to the end. You will have cardiac attacks. The eye is all the time constantly changing, focusing on anything for any particular reason, except the demand originates there. There is no need, it's constantly changing. So that's the reason why we all have to have glasses. It's not its nature. Distraction is its nature. Probably we'll have cataracts, that's a different matter, aging process. But the need to use glasses has arisen because of our reading. Focusing on things, focusing on a beautiful object.
that is the purpose.
That's the purpose. That's not its purpose. The eye doesn't give a damn whether the sky is beautiful or blue or anything, something else is happening. You see that the movement of the sari is as interesting to this, not, and if I put it that way, this is the one that is demanding, not the beautiful sunset and sunrise. Constantly changing. Distraction is its nature. Concentration is the enemy of the sensory perception.
But these are all only mechanics of what is happening in physiology.
Yes, they all have meditate and we'll watch ourselves and then that's one advantage of this.
Sorry, I'm coming.
No, no, it's not trouble, sir. No, I'm troubling you. I'm learning from you. That is how I keep myself. That human species probably, I hazard an opinion, you can brush it aside, have created this virus. Human species is a virus on this planet. Anytime any spiritual teacher comes and says that he has the answers for our problems, he is responsible for the agony. Delaying, it wipes out the whole thing. Human species is expendable. So many species have disappeared from this planet. Why this joker comes and wants to save a whale, I want to know. Prince Philip has nothing else to do. Prince Anne wants to save a seal. And this, I call her a bitch, this Maneka Gandhi. A big department, is a political job they have given for, what is that, ecology and whatnot. Shoot all the bastards at sight on sight. I said, first stop the newspapers, stop the books, stop the libraries. Books are out of date, and newspapers. It all comes from the trees. Where do you draw the line? I want to know. In these days, the whole of encyclopedia is put on a small disc. Before long, probably it may not happen in your lifetime and my lifetime, a small chip containing the totality of human knowledge can be put in your brain. Finish. You have to accept that that is a machine, that's a computer, and there is nothing there. No center, no eye, no soul, no spirit. That knocks off the whole foundation of your religiosity. Then it will be possible for us to function sanely and intelligently within the framework of our limitations. That's my view. So there is no way you can free yourself from that. You have to die. Not poetic, romantic death, but clinical death will take place now. You will drop dead if the thought stops there. What is left after that is not your concern. To us, you are a living. To you, see, here is a man sitting here talking normal, functioning like anybody else. How can we say that this man is not here? Huh? I have no way of explaining. You are creating me. And I don't create you. I can create you only if I have an image of myself. Otherwise, you don't exist for me. If you ask me the question, are you dead or alive? I would say, yes, I am very much alive. Because the question which you are asking is born out of the knowledge how a man who is living functions. So my answer is, yes, I am very much alive. But there is no way I can experience the fact that I am awake, that I am alive, except through the knowledge. What we are left with is only the knowledge, and that is the consciousness. Knowledge is consciousness. No pure consciousness. When the knowledge is absent, what you are left with is something which cannot be captured and given expression. Multiplicity. That's all. So all the people who talk about this beatitude. Why not? Come on, let's see a bit now. Oh, current. Some other time. Here, మామూలు మాటలే రావు. After that, I haven't read or written anything in there. Paper what is not a customer, except the headlines. It's not that I don't know. It takes time for me.
మీకు
something.
ఎందుకు వచ్చింది మాకెందుకు రాదు
అదే wonder of all wonders, most undeserving person. Most undeserving person.
We are.
Me?
We have to become most undeserving.
Yes.
Get it?
No, nothing to get. I'm not joking. Totally unrelated to what I wanted.
This was our problem.
నమస్కారం అండి.
మీరు ఒక పెద్దల
I'm glad to have met your son. I learned a lot from him. No. The other way around. Here there is nothing to learn. Teach. There is a lot to learn from him. Father is still ordering the son. Father is still ordering the son. నాకు
No, no, my second son is there.
నాకు
I said, God is
రండి కూర్చోండి రండి సార్.
ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళాలంటున్నా చంద్రశేఖర లేదండి కవర్ దిస్ So you can see now what happened. Captured.
ఏం సార్ ఇది లేదు సార్ కూర్చోండి
No. Take it from me, brother. I'm not your teacher asking the question. Please don't get me wrong. What is it that you are doing? Nothing. There must be an action, not spontaneous pure action. That's not what I'm talking about. You are not doing anything, you are thinking about it. That's all. Any want means thinking. Wanting is thinking. You are not doing anything to get what you want. That is not the instrument at all. A total absence of that instrument is the one that I am talking about. The physical functioning of the organism is all the time interfered by the stranglehold of that knowledge we have of ourselves and the world around. That is the identity I am talking about. That's very essential to function in this idiotic, insane world. We have to be insane. We have to be full of